This podcast is brought to you by Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Kangaroo Fern is Australia's independent video and podcast management agency with a mission to help individuals and entrepreneurs to start their own podcasts and harness the power of podcasting.
A Kangaroo Fern production.
A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Samut-Sari Conversation with Mimi, to connect with other women who may need someone to talk to around everyday's life issues and challenges, from managing career and household to inner productivity, relationships, and other hot topics. Samut-Sari Conversation with Mimi.
Hello and welcome to Samut-Sari Conversations with Mimi, a podcast featuring hot topics and other topics obviously of interest to men and women alike. We feature guests who share their passion and commitment to their profession or talents. Sometimes it's just me on my own tackling other issues with you. But here at Samut-Sari, we share stories to inspire you, stories from ordinary people who make extraordinary things. And in today's episode, I have a very extraordinary person with me. With an extraordinary story, Miss Jelyn Davies from South Australia. Hi, Jelyn. How are you? And welcome to Samut-Sari.
Wow! Hello, Miss Mimi. Hello. Kumusta po sa lahat ng mga tagapakinig ng Samut-Sari? Maraming salamat po for having me. And grabe naman yung introduction. So, but anyways, as I've said, thank you for having me in this really very good show na puro positive vibes lang, nakakatawang makinig sa'yo. At sana ganun din yung mga audience mo na na nakikinig palagi sa'yo na makapulot sila ng mga aral regarding samot-saring mga ideas na meron kayo.
That's the reason why the title of the show is Samut-Sari. Pero Jelyn, I know some things about you, but I prefer that you expound on it a little bit. So just to give the audience a preview or something like a little teaser on our topic for today, I know that you have a very life-changing experience and you turned it around and became a financial advisor. So we will be talking about that later on. You are passionate about sharing to people a different kind of attitude about money and financial affairs. But I want you to tell them who Jelyn Davies is at paano tayo napunta sa topic na ito. Ibig sabihin, what's your background and why did you become so focused on helping other people with their financial resources and financial well-being and changing their attitudes towards money? So what is the background story behind Jelyn Davies?
Okay. Actually, I'm a travel agent by profession. So I own the only Filipino travel agency in South Australia.
Wow.
So obviously maraming mga kliyenteng Filipino. So I've catered mostly Filipino community talaga. Talagang kumbaga 95% ng client ko sa office lahat Filipino. So it was like young and old and new migrants and skilled migrants and everything in between. Pumupunta talaga sa office kasi may money transfer business din ako. So parang napakalaki ring.
Are you a podcaster who's getting frustrated because your show results are not in your favor? Are you losing hope because you feel like podcasting doesn't help you generate income? Are you a podcast service provider who is struggling to meet your clients' expectations? If yes, head on to www.podkai.com. Book a call with the founder of Podkai Media, Kai Villanueva, and get clear and proven strategies to earn through podcasting.
Parang kumbaga magkasama sila sa business. So, the journey of being debt-free, it started actually, Miss Mimi, 2-3 years ago when I went to the Holy Land. When I bring a group na pumunta sa Holy Land. So we did a group there. I think that's where my aha moment happened. Na parang, alam mo yon, we're earning good money, pero wala kaming napapakita. Alam mo yun, there's no way that you can, the lifestyle that we're having at that time, parang superficial para sa akin, nakakapagod, nakaka-stress. Wala akong budget, hindi ko alam yung mga ganon. Basta, kung ano yung pumasok, lumalabas lang. So, parang nakakapagod, alam mo yun. Dumating na ako dun sa puntong, teka muna, parang may mali. So, that's where it all started, na parang ayoko na ng kagaya ng mga ibang Filipino na tumanda na dito sa Australia na walang mga pera. Alam mo yun? Walang ipon.
Yeah.
Which is like something that I don't want to happen to me. You know? Kaya parang naisip ko na, hang on a minute. Meron akong kailangang baguhin dito. And being married to an Australian, actually ako ang spender. Siya ang hindi. So, yun yung difference namin. At saka, as I go deeper into my spirituality, because I'm a born-again Christian as well, that's when the Bible is clearly telling us that that is no good. You know? So, if I'm going to follow what the Bible says, he said, in the house of the poor, you know, it's all, na-spend niya lahat ng pera niya. While in the house of the wise, there's good oil and food. So, parang that's like a big eye-opener sa akin na mag-change ako ng financial views ko when it comes to, you know, our finances. So,
Okay.
yeah.
That's a very enlightening story. I've never been to the Holy Land. Baka I don't know when.
Go with me.
I know. That's one of the places in my bucket list, pero kailangan mo ng pag-ipunan. But I picked up something from what you said earlier. You and your husband have a different mindset in terms of money. So in your own opinion or in your own experience, why do you think that having that kind of mentality didn't make you realize that you're just throwing away the money that you could have saved and that could have helped you? And how did it impact your relationship with your husband? Kasi kung ikaw ang spender and he's the one that saves a lot, didn't that put a strain also in your relationship as a couple, and how it impact your life as a family? Whose ideas about money prevailed? Ang daming layers ng question ko, no? So I'd rather that you take it. Yeah, you take it the way you want to respond to that, because they're interrelated anyway.
Yeah, all right. Number one, I am married to an Australian who doesn't care about money. He doesn't care if we spend all the money. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't even know where the money is and where the money is coming from, actually. Because I think I'm earning more than him, to be honest. So, parang ang sa kanya, pag may pera ka, kung may pera ka at gusto mo yan, bilhin mo. Pero kung wala kang pera, tumahimik ka. That's his mentality. We never argue about money, which is, I think, one of the good side of this. But para sa akin, kaya ako ang kailangan magbago eh. Kaya ako ang nagising kasi ako ang kailangan magbago. Dahil pag nag-abroad tayo, we have that mentality of, pag nakarating ako sa abroad, matutupad na lahat ng mga pangarap ko. Alam mo yon, lahat ng mga gusto kong bilhin na luho. Kasi ang mentality ko nung nandito ako, parang kaya kong abutin lahat eh. Masipag lang ako, which is I am. No, kaya ko magtrabaho ng hanggang madaling araw, alam mo yon. Talagang that is the kind of mentality that I have. But despite of all that, you know, earning good money, both of us are earning good money. Wala talaga kaming mapakitang it's all for the family, all superficial. Masyado akong spender talaga ako eh. Hindi ako, kaya nga, nung nag-start na akong mag-advise, ang dami kong binago sa sarili ko. I think the changes should be the mentality. Like, your question to me is the psychology about money. That, you know, you need to sacrifice for now so that you can reap that in the future. If you wanted to sacrifice a year or two of your lifestyle, going to where you can afford, then lahat ng masisave mo during that time o makakabayad ka ng mga utang mo during that time, you will reap it in the future. Alam mo yun, yung parang ang dumadating kasi sa punto sa atin na pag pumasok ang sweldo natin, lumabas din lahat eh. Bakit? Kasi puro tayo pay, after pay, travel pay luwagan. Binibigay natin ang pera natin sa kung kani-kanino.
Your podcast journey starts here. Take the first step on your side. Hustle with us. It starts with a great domain. Get your podcast web host with Beard and Coffee at www.beardandcoffee.com.au or find us at Facebook.
Alam mo yun, sa rent, sa kotseng maganda, sa bahay na ang laki-laki, na wala naman tayo dun. Kasi nasan tayo? Nasa trabaho tayo para lang ma-afford natin yung bahay na maganda. Nasa work lagi nakaparada yung kotse natin na maganda, na BM, na Mercedes, na Range Rover, para lang ma-afford natin yung kotse na yun. So, parang yun yung realization sa akin. As I've said, I went back to the truth, which is the biblical way of it. Kasi hindi ka pwede magkamali sa salita ng Diyos eh. Pag sinabi ng Panginoon na, you know, that is not good for you, then it's not good for you. Kaya nga pag kami nagsasabi sa akin, oh, good debt and bad debts. You know, there's good debts and there's bad debts. Sa akin, ang pananaw ko ngayon the only good debts is a paid off debt. That's the good debt.
Okay.
You know? So,
Jelyn, I have to cut you off kasi meron na naman ako next question. While listening to you, marami ako napipick up na question. So, baka may nakikinig sa atin, maybe viewers or listeners, because you know this show is both on YouTube and in the different podcast streaming services. So, some of them will see us, some of them will just listen to us. So, maybe some of our viewers or listeners will say, so what? So what if you're now telling us na we should not give our money away to other people? And so what if it's our life, it's our pagod, it's our hirap? Maybe they won't believe that you turned your life around or you changed your perspective just as a result of you realizing that when you visited the Holy Land. Was there a point in your life na naging down na down ka na ba talaga? Enough for you to change it completely, turn around? Kasi other people will say, oh, it's easy to say magtipid, but unless you experience something life-changing, hindi ka ganito ka-passionate about your views about money, right? So have you been to a lowest point enough for you to be a credible person to say na, guys, you have to change your outlook about money now?
Wow, hindi ko naisip yun in a sense but para sa akin, the fear of not having savings, the fear of not having enough if something happens between me and my husband, siguro yun yung isa sa pinakamalaking factor na nagpursue kami na talagang, ay, teka muna, parang may mali eh. Kasi we just spent everything that we earn. So, the fear na, ang liliit pa ng mga anak ko. So, parang, wala talagang savings, Miss Mimi eh. Wala talaga eh. Talagang lahat nakalabas. Yun yung mga lifestyle talagang kumakain sa labas lagi. Pag nag-grocery, basta walang magta-travel kami ng walang pakundangan, naka-business class pati mga bata. Alam mo yun? Siguro may mga perks din naman ako sa business, but it's still I need to pay for them. Ako lang naman ang libre. Right. So, yung mga gano'n, naranasan ng mga anak ko na at this young age, nabi-business class na sila, 5-star hotels, lahat ng mga hotels nila. Yung mga gano'n ba? So, parang, in the end, pakitang tao, and ang nakakapurita talaga dito sa abroad, credit card. Nakakapurita talaga, nakakahirap talaga ng mga nag-a-abroad yung credit card niyan. Wala kaming emergency fund, wala kami ng mga ganon. So, and plus, you know, naisip ko na rin because ang husband ko is like, he's already 60. So parang hanggang kailan to magtatrabaho, ay maliliit pa yung mga anak ko. So, siguro magtatrabaho siya hanggang 80 siya.
Yeah.
So, yun.
But you don't want your husband to do that. You don't want your husband to be working until the age of 80. No. So maybe some people will say, okay, puro negativity naman yata ang pinag-uusapan natin. I don't want them to think na money is totally evil. So when you mean changing your life around, what does your
So you want to start a podcast? Or perhaps you've already started one, but you're still unclear on how you can actually make this podcasting work. No worries. That's why we're here for you. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Join our network. Contact us at info@kangaroofern.com because we're stronger together.
life look like right now? Meaning, how are you happier now that you've changed your life around, that you don't have those debts anymore? And how are you managing your money now?
Now, the good thing about this is, as I've said, as you keep on asking me, it got a lot of psychology. This is not about math. This is about psychology. This is about how you think about money. Kasi kung kung magaling ka sa math, then definitely you're not gonna be in debt. You're not. You need to know where your money is. So it's more of, it's really a psychology. You need to change your mindset with this. And we and I am really really encouraging everyone na nakikinig ngayon that it's not that easy to turn your life around. Dahil social being tayo dahil we need to please other people around us kahit sinasabi natin na hindi. Tayong mga Pilipino, meron tayong ganong mentality na parang gusto rin nating makita yung sarili. Kaya nga ako nag-abroad. So most of mga kino-coach ko, sabi, ate, kaya nga ako nag-abroad tapos sabi mo sa akin, magtitipid ako. Tipid na nga ako sa Pilipinas noon, tapos magdating ko sa abroad, tipid din. Ano ba yan? Parang ganon. So yun yung mga kumbaga yun yung mga mentality na sasalamuha ko, nakikita ko, naririnig ko. But lagi kong sinasabi na yung ang sakripisyo mo ngayon ay magiging napakalaking malaki ang pakinabang mo with that sacrifice that you're just doing. 1 taon, 2 taon kang nandito sa abroad na nakaipon ka na wala ka ng utang, na bayadan mo na lahat. Maliban sa bahay mo, that's Miss Mimi what I'm trying to tell most of the Filipinos na kung yung bahay mo lang ang utang mo at the rest, lahat bayad, then ibig sabihin nun, isa lang ang pinagbibigyan mo ng sweldo mo every time na susweldo ka, maliban sa pagkain at saka sa bills mo. Wala sa kotse mo, wala kay master, wala kay visa, walang mga ganon, wala kay afterpay, wala kay yung mga temptations ba na yun? Kasi in the end, pag binalikan mo talaga yung sarili mo, hindi mo naman talaga kailangan ng mga ganon Hindi mo talaga kailangan. So, yun yung naging, am I answering your question properly?
Yeah.
Yun yung naging naging mas nagkaroon ka ng security kasi meron kang emergency fund. Meron kang naglalagay ka ng mas maraming pera sa super mo. Mas sinisecure mo yung future kasi nagtabi rin ako ng pang-education ng mga bata para wala silang hex.
Yeah.
So that they will start zero, hindi sila negative. So yun yung gusto kong mangyari sa kanila. And plus, once we paid our house, nandun na kami sa step ng 7, maybe step 7 which is called in this process na you can give more. Kasi meron kang ibibigay Mahirap kasing magbigay. Kasi tayo, giver tayo mga Filipino to the point na kahit hindi na natin kaya, nagbibigay pa rin tayo. May isang text yan.
Correct.
Sa Facebook na, messenger na, madali nang, may sakit si ganito, or pansit ka naman, or birthday ko, yung mga ganun ba? Parang dumadating tayo doon sa puntong kahit wala ka, magbibigay ka, bakit? Nasa abroad ka Ang hirap.
Do you think
na
that's
wala ka, hindi sila maniniwala.
Yeah. Is that a negative trait na naman ng mga Pilipino? Is that something in our psyche that isn't good? Kasi I know that a lot of Filipinos who are working abroad give more to the family overseas rather than keeping enough for them to survive here. So mahirap talagang ipaliwanag siguro sa kanila na kailangan magtiis din muna yung mga kamag-anak na naghihintay abroad Kasi kailangan rin nilang mag-survive dito. Kasi I'm also helping
Exactly.
somebody who is who wants to secure their future here, but they couldn't kasi nga natutuliro na sila na nandito sila because they are still thinking of the family they left behind. So majority ng kinikita niya umuwi sa Pilipinas via padala rather than saving. What can you say about that?
Well, that is a very typical Filipino lifestyle.
Mm.
Mga enabler naman tayo eh. That is our problem. Hindi lang actually malaking problema talaga sa atin yung ganyan eh kasi may pa-konsensya effect tayo, may pag-guilty tayo eh lalo na pag kapatid mo, magulang mo or okay lang siguro kung immediate family. Sa akin, lagi kong kino-coach kung immediate family nyo na lalo na nanay at tatay mo or
That's
may
right.
sakit, okay. Pero yung mga malalakas, enabler na ang tawag sa atin noon, 'di ba? Parang tinuturuan mo silang maging tamad rather than magsumikap sila for themselves kasi hindi nila alam. Palagay ko, ikaw nakakaintindi ka sa ganitong sitwasyon na hindi nila malalaman ang lifestyle na meron tayo dito sa abroad hanggat hindi sila nakarating dito.
That's right.
Kasi
Hindi
iba.
ma-appreciate.
Yeah, iba. Iba ang lifestyle dito. Iba dun sa atin. Doon nga, pakuya-kuya-kuy lang kumakain ng 3 beses isang araw eh.
Correct.
Alam mo yun?
And dito,
Walang
no
trabaho,
work, no pay
kumakain
talaga
eh.
dito. No work, no pay. We don't even have
Exactly.
13th month pay here. We don't have mid-year bonus here. So kung ano man yung mga gagastusin mo, that's the other flip side. That's why people like to acquire more din. Kasi alam naman talaga nila na pinaghirapan nila yon. Kahit na magka-after pay utang pa sila. They think that they deserve it because they worked hard for it, di ba?
Exactly. Kaya talagang ang laki, naiintindihan ko kasi may money transfer sa business ko at nakikita ko yung mga ibang Filipino, mga kliyente ko na talagang every week, kahit may pera siya o wala, pupunta siya sa office ko para magpadala na kasi ina-expect nila sa Philippines.
Yeah.
Nandun na sila sa Palawan, nandun na sila sa Cebuana, nakapila na sila.
We are Independent Podcast Network. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Would you like to hear your brand while supporting quality podcasts? Contact us now at advertise@guerrillapodcastsyndicate.com.
Hindi pa nakakapagpadala yung taong nandito sa Australia. Alam mo yun?
Dumating ba sa point, Jelyn, na naging microcredit financer ka na rin ng mga kliyente mo? Pag wala silang maipadala sa Pilipinas?
Ay, meron akong mga ganoon, pero nagbago na ako, Miss Mimi, kasi parang may mali eh. Alam mo yun? Dumadating ako dun sa puntong may sakit, yung nanay ka eh, naintindihan mo may sakit yung anak o yung ganito. Pero alam mo, naglagay ako ng boundary na hindi ka magpapadala kung wala kang pera. They even use credit card para magpadala. They use credit card para magpadala ng pera.
Wow,
That's how
that's more dangerous. Kagaya nga ng asawa ko, sabi niya, how many credit cards do you need? Do you really need 5? When we can have one that just is enough to cover yung mga pangangailangan namin. Halimbawa, sa grocery, isa lang, share kami ng card. We can monitor each other's expenses through that one. Just to earn the points and then balik agad yung money. Hindi na pinapabayaan na mag-accumulate. So,
Totoo.
other
Kasi
perspective.
discipline eh.
Oh,
Discipline din
that's
talaga.
true. So, ako rin, nagdaan din ako dyan. I'm a bit of a spender myself, but luckily I have a husband who knows a little bit more about finances. So, he keeps me in check. So, medyo mahirap pag-adjust, pero like you said, I really believe 100% what you said, lahat ng sakripisyo mo ngayon, later on ay maririp mo rin yung benefits. So, how do you reconcile that? You're a businesswoman. So, ang dating sa mga tao, when you say a businesswoman, lagi kang maraming cash. So, how will you reconcile the thought of people saying na, okay, you're a businesswoman, but how do you balance, again, the temptation of spending because you have some amount of money versus trying to live enough for what your family needs? So, how does that happen? If you're an employee, you can imagine that. But when you say businesswoman, there's a different perception of of a person who has a business. So demystify that idea again, Jelyn.
Well, number one, being a business person in Australia is not the same as being a business person in the Philippines. Masyadong madami binabayarang mga taxes dito. But you're right. Siguro ang cash flow namin is, different from, lagi akong, nung nag-start na akong maging very specific at saka nagkaroon na ako ng intentionality na kasi ang ginawa ko sa buhay ko when it comes to finances. I'm very intentional. So alam ko, cash is king sa akin. Cash is king talaga. Kasi, sabi ko nga, we don't have any credit card. Tinanggal na namin lahat ng mga yon. And then, meron akong envelope system. Kasi kailangan kong mag-check kung saan talagang mag-work sa akin. May mga taong mas nag-spend sila ng money pag may hawak silang cash. May mga tao naman na mas control nila pag ang pera nila cash lang. So, doon ako, nag-try and error ako. But for me, iba talaga ang pera ng business sa akin. Iba ang pera ng personal, ng family. So, yung business kasi, medyo masyadong, wala talaga akong nakahawakan cash doon, Mas Mimi. So kumbaga, nandun lang lahat yun sa account or something. Pero yung sa family talaga, mas okay sa akin yung cash. So kung wari nilagay ko sa grocery cash ko na $200, ang gagastusin ko for the week, ipagkakasyahin ko yon. Pag wala, meron at sigurado akong meron kayo sa pantry nyo na kaya nyong lutuin. Dahil meron ngang pa-expire na eh. Marami nga dyan naka-freezer burn na eh. Diba?
Yeah.
So kailangan natin maging anong tawag dito? Kailangan nating maging hindi ako masyado marunong magluto pero kailangan ko maging innovative
creative
when it comes to that. Oo, maging creative. Yun.
Okay. So, Jelyn, that's reserved for our other episode. Yung mga tipid tips, that's another episode which aabangan ng mga audience natin, our listeners. So, stay tuned everybody because Jelyn and I will be back with Jelyn's tipid tips as a madiscarding nanay.
Yes.
So that's our part 2. Pero Jelyn, going towards the end of our program now, I really want this to be like an anchoring episode so that we can talk about your tips in another podcast. But what are your nuggets of wisdom that you can share to our listeners about changing their money mindset and how they can still change their life around it? I know it's not too late for some of them. Kahit nabaon na sila sa utang, what can you impart to them as your last message or advice?
I think have an end in mind na kunwari, kung gusto mo talaga, you can do it. Like, being debt-free is something na hindi ko nga naisip yan dati. Hindi ko nga alam yan eh. Parang ang tingin ko sa mga nagsasabi na debt-free sila, nakabayad na sila ng mortgage nila, ang dating nun sa akin, ang yabang eh. Alam mo yon? Meron akong negative na effect sa mga taong ganun. Ang tingin ko sa kanila, ang yabang mo naman, dito sa abroad, lahat may utang. Yung ganun ba na mindset? Pero in reality, sa likod pala ng negative ko na feeling doon, gusto kong maging kagaya nila. Alam mo yon? Gusto kong naiinggit pala ako sa kanila na gusto ko ring marating yung ganong punto ng estado ng finances ko. So, sa akin, pag gusto mo, pwede. Pag gusto mo, pwede. Kasi ang being good with your finances, meaning na hindi mo sinasayang ang blessing na binibigay ng Lord sa'yo. Babalik ako dun sa spirituality kasi it goes back to that. Ilang sapatos ba ang kailangan mo? Ilang damit? Ilang bags? Is it every time ba nabibili ka ng mga bagay na gusto mo lang? Are you giving back the blessing na binigay sa'yo ng Panginoon? Hindi eh. Ginagastos mo lang sa mga bagay na walang kabuluhan. Samantalang, pagka meron kang emergency fund, inilaan mo yun para sa emergency fund mo, inilaan mo yun na pambayad ng kotse mo, inilaan mo yun na pambayad sa bahay mo para hindi ka naiiwan sa 25 years bago mo mabayaran ng bahay mo or 30 years, then, you don't need to work until you're 67. Hindi mo kailangan yun. So, kailangan magkaroon ka ng vision, ng end in mind. Ano ba ang gusto mong marating financially? Kasi kung gusto mo maging statistics ka na lang ng kagaya ng mga ibang Filipino dito na nakadepende lang kay sympathetic link, I called Centerlink sympathetic link, then that's the kind of person you are. Kung gusto mong nakadepende dyan, pagtanda mo, at alam mo yun, yun na lang, then yun ka lang. Pero kung gusto mong pagtanda mo, Miss Mimi, nakikita ko rin to sa mga mayayamang Filipino dito sa South Australia na meron talagang mga millions of dollars net worth na mga Filipino. And you know what? Itong napakayaman na Filipina na to, never, hindi mo sa itsura niya will know na mayaman siya. Not even a single Louis Vuitton, not even a Chanel. And she's run about 7 million
Yun
dollars,
ang
Australian
yun ang
dollars.
totoong sikreto ng mga mayayaman dahil sa they know how to make the money work for them. They don't need to act and look like they are worth millions.
No,
di ba?
yun, everyday millionaire. So, ang goal namin ngayong mag-asawa is to become an everyday millionaire, but it doesn't need to show. It doesn't need to show na alam mo yun, na yung net worth mo is positive. That you have a positive net worth of $1 million. That's our aim. That's our goal. But hindi mo, kasi nga tama yun sa kultura natin, kung sino pa yung walang pera. This is not to, i-belittle yung kultura natin. This is not to deny that we are like that I used to be like that. Pero napagod na ako. Sabi nga ni Dave Ramsey kung saan ako nag-aral, showing off and buying things that you don't need with the money you don't have to impress the people that you don't even like. So,
superficial.
It's very superficial. The lifestyle, it's a fake lifestyle. It's a credit card funded lifestyle. So it is really, that was an eye-opener for me that I wanted to be this Filipina who is such a really humble, and yung humility niya. And you know what? The one that inspired me about her is her giving attitude. You can give more if you have. Hindi ka makakapagbigay pag wala ka, kasi iniisip, nagbigay ka nga, masama yung loob mo kasi kailangan pambayad mo nga yun ng kuryente dito or pambayad mo yun ng kotse mo, ng mortgage mo, diba? But if you have enough for yourselves, then you can give more. So change your lifestyle now so that, live like no one else, so that you can give like no one else in the future. So hindi yung give ngayon just to show off or become enabler.
Tapos mamaya sa likod pala ng kortina lumuluha na siya at naghihikahos na rin siya. So that's not a good lifestyle. Jelyn, I really like your advice kasi talagang maraming mapupulot na aral. That's why I said today is part 1 and we will have another session part 2. So I think people will really tune into our second episode kasi nandun na yung mga practical tipid tips na pag-uusapan natin on how they can start little steps in changing their lifestyle without really sacrificing yung mga values nila, yung mga things that they probably like to do or the things that they probably aspire to have in the future. So Jelyn, thank you very much for being with me today. And that wraps up part 1 of our interview with Jelyn. She's a businesswoman, she's a financial advisor, and she is also a person who can be a testament to this experience around money mindset and changing your lifestyle to benefit your family. So Jelyn, thank you. And for the rest of our viewers, if you have any stories or topics you wish to feature in the show, please reach out to me via my mimi@dinosocial.com. Samosari is a member of the Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Jelyn, let's say goodbye to our audience. And until the next time, babalik ka dito sa ating program.
Thank you so much. Maraming salamat po sa mga nakinig sa amin ni Miss Mimi tonight. At saka, thank you for having me. I mean, like, I'm sorry if I'm not, like, I apologize for, I'm quite nervous. I'm not a nervous person, pero medyo kinakabahan ako tonight.
That's okay. That's okay, Jelyn. You're doing well, and I'll see you at the next episode, okay?
Alright. Maraming
Okay.
salamat po.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to visit our website at www.guerrillapodcastsyndicate.com, where you can subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. You can also join the conversation with Guerrillas RV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please consider on making a donation to help us keep making the podcast you love. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production.